What are the best places to be an expat in Mexico? So this is based off of my experience with my students and where they live, and also my personal experience having traveled around in places I enjoyed and would like to check out. These are in no particular order, but first one's first is Mexico City. Mexico City is the capital of Mexico. I'm sure you guys knew that, right? It is an enormous city, right? The neighborhoods of La Roma and La Condesa are probably the most popular, but in recent years, also you've gotten like Escandón, Del Valle, Nápoles. It's expanded out from what it was 6 or 7 years ago when I first went to Mexico City, where everybody just stayed in La Roma and La Condesa, right? That was their idea of Mexico. Now it's really expanded out to all of the city. Mexico City is amazing. There's always so much to do. They have all kinds of cultural things. They have art and history. They have museums, right? They have access to any kind of sports you might want to do. I like to go there to train jiu-jitsu. I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons I go there. It's got delicious food. It's, in my opinion, the best food in all of Mexico is in Mexico City. And it's a very popular destination with a lot of my students, whether just to go visit or to go and live and settle down for some time, specifically with digital nomads, right? Plus, in Mexico City, you have access to 2 airports that can basically get you anywhere in Mexico City in like 2 hours, 3 hours. And it can get you to most of Latin America as well, especially Volaris with the Volaris Pass and stuff. You can get from anywhere from El Salvador to Costa Rica to Peru in 5-6 hours and for like less than $100. It's pretty insane. The second most popular destination is probably like San Miguel de Allende. I've had a lot of students who live there. San Miguel de Allende is similar to Mexico City in that it's city. It has a lot of the same like cultural stuff. It has this beautiful like castle, church, cathedral thing. I call it a castle because to me it looks like the castle at Disneyland. Like that's what I think of when I see this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's an old like colonial Spanish style town, right? Super friendly. The prices have gone up a little bit. And there's also been some really bad stories of people who go to cafes and order things in English and they get pissed when people don't understand what they're saying. Learn Spanish, people. You're not in the US anymore. You're in Mexico. Learn Spanish. I really enjoy San Miguel de Allende. I think it's a very, very pretty town. The food is kind of whatever. Nothing too special, but it's also right near Guanajuato, which Guanajuato is probably one of my favorite small towns in Mexico. It's not as popular as like an expat or like a digital nomad destination. It's not as big, it's a little bit smaller, but it's very beautiful. Guanajuato is a beautiful town. It's up in the mountains. It's like you gotta walk up into the mountains to like go visit all the city, right? There's a lot of like monuments and stuff to like Don Quixote. They have the Callejoneadas where they take you around the town, they sing songs. Like you're back in 200 or 300 years ago, and give you wine, you get to hang out and have a good time. It's really a lot of fun. Those 2 cities are absolutely gorgeous. Number 3 is Todos Santos. Todos Santos is in Baja California Sur. It's a super popular destination. It's a very big surf area. They have like Cerritos Beach and stuff like that, and you can get to pretty much anywhere on the peninsula within reason in like an hour or 2. You can go from there. You can go down to Cabo San Lucas, which is a really popular destination for vacation, not as much to live. It's a little bit too touristy, a little bit too spendy. You can get to the East Cape, you can get up to La Paz. La Paz is like, in my opinion, like a very Mexican town, as compared to like even like Todos Santos or Cabo San Lucas. The town of La Paz is more like, that's how Mexico is. That's what Mexico lives. It's not as touristy. Like if you're on the main Malecón in La Paz, yes. But if you get outside of that, like 3 or 4 streets back, it suddenly becomes real Mexico, right? And it's an amazing town. I've spent multiple months there. It's a really cool place. As well, insider tip, go check out the town of Loreto. Loreto's a little bit farther north of where La Paz is, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of for me, like the most surprising towns that I've ever visited in terms of like, I went not expecting much and it was absolutely gorgeous. I really enjoyed it. And I've had a ton of students from Baja California who specifically live in Todos Santos, but have kind of been all over the place. As well, if you're into like kite surfing and diving, you can go over to like La Ventana, which is a kite surfing spot during the winter. And up in La Paz, you can get into all kinds of beautiful diving and snorkeling situations. They take you out on boats to check out the wildlife and stuff. It's really cool. And last on this list is gonna be Oaxaca, specifically the coast of Oaxaca, of Huatulco and Puerto Escondido. These 2 towns in specific are on the coast of Oaxaca. They're utterly beautiful. They're a little bit more isolated in a lot of ways from the rest of Mexico. They were for a long time. They're now a little bit more connected because there's a new highway going from Huatulco and Puerto Escondido up to Oaxaca City, which Oaxaca City is a great place to check out as well. But it, at least to me, is not as popular with the expat crowd, at least not yet, although it's getting there. Like the last time I was in Oaxaca City, I saw a ton of expats walking around. So maybe I'm wrong, but I just haven't had as many students from there as I have from Huatulco and from Puerto Escondido, right? Which are beautiful. Puerto Escondido specifically is a surf town. Huatulco is more of like a resort area. But as you go farther south from Huatulco, there's a ton of surf and a ton of really beautiful nature. There's the park, it's like a national park or like a national reserve, something like that, down in Huatulco, which is really nice. You have Barra de la Cruz, which is becoming a very well-known surf wave. Very cool. Now, you'll notice that I probably left off a few towns. If I left off your town and didn't mention it, leave down below where do you think expats should hang out. But one place I leave off here is like the Riviera Maya area, whether that's Cancun, Tulum, Playa del Carmen. And I don't leave it off because I think it's necessarily a bad place to live. I personally don't like it, but that doesn't mean everybody doesn't. But I've found that not a lot of people who are there are interested in learning Spanish, right? Whether that's from the factor of they're just there for vacation and so they're there for a week and they just don't really care, or they go into it with like a little bit of an elitist mentality. I don't know. I'm not saying either way. But I find that not as many people want to learn Spanish. And I think, especially recently, with the prices having been raised so much in that area, people are looking for other places to go. And don't get me wrong, like San Miguel or Mexico City or Todos Santos is definitely not like the cheapest place you could go. And I could go on for days of towns that I didn't mention that are also really worth checking out. Like the town of Morelia in Michoacan, amazing. San Cristobal, which is well-known-ish, in Chiapas, also beautiful. Mazatlan, a really cool place. Sayulita or Puerto Vallarta, really cool as well. Definitely recommend to check them out. I'm gonna leave in the comments below my list of like the top 10 places in Mexico to check out as an expat digital nomad looking to move abroad, looking to move to Mexico. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything you want me to teach in the future, or any topics you want me to address, leave them down in the comments below. Click here to watch a prior video, and thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.